Hello, BAME Farm fans. We see the 1466 behind us, and you probably can't see what's different. But if you follow on Instagram, BAME Farm _, you saw the photo where I had the gear puller. Yeah, the gear puller pulling off the dual hubs. Yeah, there's no dual hubs. I took the dual hubs off. Why did I take the dual hubs off? Well, if we see the overall condition of the 14, well before I ever got it, it probably had sat out. And somebody with the previous set of dual hubs, well, they were slightly mistreated and they were stripping out because nobody left the bolts in. There were no bolts in them, so they got weathered. And from rust and stuff, and the cast iron gets softer with age, I ended up stripping out over half of the holes. So let's go up to the garage and see what we're working on with the dual hubs. Patiently waiting down here on the garage floor, we have our dual hubs. And since they were stripped out, I went ahead and drilled out the holes. That was fun and exciting, and got these studs. Now I'm going to try to, hold this up here and get the definition. Tell me if anything looks weird about these. These studs are for 5/8 holes. They do require a little modification. If we look at the base there's a little ridge right by the cap. That'll cause a problem. If we look at this dual hub real close, do you see that? It's that little line right there. That is a crack. That's because I put one of these in just as it sits. This one did not crack because between two of us, Dad holding the grinder and me holding the stud, were able to take off that little shoulder. And apparently that shoulder is just enough that it's too big. It'll make the cast iron crack. And I just took this in by putting a lug nut with the flat side down, and we'll see that eventually, to pull the stud in. So shortly here we're going to go over to a neighbor out here. He's got a lathe. We're going to take that little ridge off. And oh, look at something else weird about these. Who here likes Dodges? Anybody see the difference? Look at that L. Might mean loser, but it also means left-handed. These are left-handed studs. They're listed in Napa's computer as being for a Dodge truck. I don't know what year. I wasn't paying attention. And when we were at Napa ordering these, because we were going everywhere, large truck shops, we tried Napa, tractor dealers. I don't know. These are M&W, Unverfirth, somebody's hubs. I don't know if they're necessarily factory international hubs. But the point is, whoever made the hubs also offered a studded option. And they've got a chart about what size studs. So to keep the 5/8 threads, which is, probably going to match the rim will have 5/8 holes. It would have to drill out the holes in the hub to 43/64. Where do you find a 43/64 drill bit? Okay, they're out there. They're out there. Like at a Fastenal, or you got to special order it through somebody. But I didn't trust myself being able to drill these holes out to 43/64 and to have the drill bit still be intact after 18 holes. Because drilling cast iron can be a little challenging. It helps that it's older, because as cast iron ages, it softens and mellows out. Fresh cast iron is sort of brittle. So, we decided to search and search, and we finally found 5/8 studs that work until the last 1/4 inch. So I've yik-yacked here about our problems and how we're fixing them, so let's get to work actually fixing these things. Well, how did you folks like the lathe? Pretty neat. Herman says that's from 1909. Yeah, it's amazing. We'll say basic technology from back then. I like the pulley setup on the wall. That would have been something, like where they had one main shaft running down the factory. Probably much more than that little GE 2-horse motor. Well, we're going to lube everything up. It'll help the grooves cut better, hopefully. Put grease there for the threads. Got these 2 washers. From that position you can't see it, but we will run out of threads, so got to have a couple of washers to make sure we don't run out of threads. And I gotta find my rag. Remember that these are left-handed threads, so lefty-tighty. Yeah, that'll really mess with you. And I think I got the number wrong earlier. These are a WA2644. If you happen to find yourself in the same situation, you can go to Napa and get these left-handed studs and nuts. Might drive somebody crazy, but so you don't have to sit there and drill these things out to 4364s. That's kind of annoying. So we got the handy-dandy impact with the big battery. Adds a punch. You can see the the shininess where they're freshly milled down. Oh, let's go this direction. Lefty, remember? Push it in. I can just about push it in by hand to where the grooves are. This is the good hub. This is the one that I cracked. So we're going to try one of these in here just to make sure we don't crack another one. Oh, that's righty-loosey. Lefty-tighty. Oh, where's the Dodge fans out there? Who can tell me what year Dodge used left-handed studs? This must be for like the bigger trucks. Man. Well, that was loud. Well, didn't use a whole lot of battery yet, but remind me to get my earmuffs. Well, that's 2 studs in. A whole bunch of those and a little more deftness to go. So we're probably going to fast forward this next section as I put all these in. Got that a little warm. No cracks yet, so we must have the holes just the right size, or good and tight. Let the impact cool off a little bit too. Smell the iron. what do you think? Someone's gonna say that I should have used a C-clamp and a socket to press them in. Well, that would have been a lot of turning by hand. And, you know, I had to drill some of these out. I had a couple broken off bolts in the holes. That was annoying. Yep, that's the first one we cracked. Still got that there to remind us of our journey. And on this side, I had to take the nut off and drive the U-bolt out that holds these on in order to get the stud in. So I wasn't going to be able to do this in place. And to drill these out, I mean, drilling the threads off, these things don't stand up like I want them to. Drilling the threads off, I figured it would have went better going down versus coming, you know, from the side with them on the axle. So, and it was just nice to be able to take them off versus trying to do it on the tractor. And, you know, somebody else may ask, and hopefully, you know, you guys watch this long where I address some of the frequently asked questions that I'm anticipating. I was putting extra long bolts through with nuts on the back, and that got kind of annoying because I just wasn't, if I was just going to put the duals on and sell it or leave them on all the time, which I don't always do that, sometimes I'll take them off. It's, you know, it's nice not having all the extra wheels on the tractor during hay season. But yes, I went with the studs instead of just putting a nut on the back of a really long bolt. So, yep, we're going to get ready to put these on the tractor. Going to need lots of torque to get these tightened. I don't think these have been off the tractor since they were put on, because I couldn't get the U-bolts out. I had to hammer and hammer and hammer. And that's why I used the gear puller. Because I think, oh, on this one, if we look closely, oh, that's not in good light. There we go, you see that? I may have turned that into a lock nut, thanks to a little extra enthusiastic hammering with an extra large hammer. Oh, well, this is the glorious moment we've all been waiting for. The studs are in. Yes, it's lovely. And we didn't have to drill the holes out too big. Oh, because right now they're 5/8. And 43/64 is much larger than 5/8. That would be just under 11/16. Might not be that much material, but without a drill press, I know I wouldn't want to try drilling that because the cast iron, it won't drill straight or fast. When you drill cast iron, it comes out as dust. When you drill any sort of forged steel, you get nice ribbons and shavings. But the cast iron just turns to dust. And for some reason it's really hard, because I've tried to drill other cast iron parts before. Using a hand drill, it won't work, and this would be really hard to get set up in a drill press. You could do it, but there's a lot of material to deal with and to keep it setting straight. So we just stuck with the 5/8 drill out. We were drilling such little material, it'd drill through fast. And we wouldn't have to worry about it wobbling too much. Except for on this one, if you paid attention, there was a few of them that pulled in really quick. And those ones were the ones where the bolt had broken off. And I had to drill them out. And I tried using an easy out. And the dumb thing about an easy out, it's great if you happen to shear off a bolt. But if you break it off because, say, it's rusted in place, you might as well just keep drilling and picking bigger drill bits and drill it out. So I was trying my best to find the exact center. But because I was drilling through so much material and maybe not good at finding center, there's a couple of these here that pulled in real fast, where I was a little off center, but I think they'll hold just fine. So, let's go back to the tractor, find our big torque multiplying device, and a large ratchet. Oh, and we'll put the dual hubs back on. I just tried to clean that up a little bit with the wire wheel. That dual's been on there, that hub's been on there so long, it's pitting real bad. Oh, and let's see if I can slide it on without needing too much heavy hitting. Good news is this is in a position where it'll be easy to put it, to easy to put it on, but easy to tighten it. That way I can use my weight, because well, we'll see here in a second. Had to use my weight to get these loose, so we'll see how it goes getting them tight. I'm debating on whether to put them all the way back in like they were, or to leave a little space, because they were really far in. We'll see how we feel. I might space them out because they were really tight back here to the weights. Who thinks that it's time to break something? Hopefully I have enough thread sticking through and get these started. See, these tapped out easier, so the threads should be fine. I can't get that one started. We're gonna need a hammer on that. Ugh. Or something to tap with. Ooh, that's gonna be annoying. Let's just see how this other one goes. Guess I'll put them back right where they were. Okay. I really want to thank... Maybe we put this one on the other side, because whoever put the weights on just left lots of threads. The weights on the other side don't have this much sticking out, because I can't get a hammer in there to tap on that. We may trade sides, because the other hub still has the U-bolt sticking through enough that I can just use the nut to pull them in. Okay, so let's trade sides real quick. Oh, it's hammer time. Let's see if we can touch this. Yeah, rats. Oh, how do we do this without smashing a finger and getting it to stay in? Oh, now it's gonna go through by hand. We're started in, we're most of the way sticking out. Oh, let's hope we don't smash a finger. Okay, a little snug there. Ooh, that looks like the bottom side. We're going on pretty good. It's gonna be some tight nuts. We're gonna need a lot of leverage to tighten these down. To get them loose, I was on the end of a 6.5 foot extension on the ratchet. Come on. Did we move it? Yes. I'm gonna get a couple threads on. I'll have to be careful working these back and forth a little bit. We are on Tighten. Oh, I had this about where I want it. It looks like, based on the paint. And we're gonna be wrenching here for a while. Whew. One down, one to go. Making good use of the one big Craftsman ratchet. This should be a fun challenge. We'll throw this in here. Now, can you hold your biggest ratchet, hopefully like a 3/4 drive, full length, arm straight out? This will be a good one for all you guys. So the ice bucket challenge, and then do full rotation. Whew. Yeah, it'd be a fun new challenge, like the ice bucket challenge. The coronavirus ratchet challenge. You stay at home when you fix things and use your big tools. Get a good workout. Of course, I was pretty lazy with the impact putting these in. Yeah, I didn't want to have to put them in. Using this thing is keep ratcheting on them. The impact saved a lot of time. I don't think the impact would have had enough oomph to get these tight, because my weight on the end of this 3 or 4 foot out hopefully is 500 foot-pounds of torque to make these tight. We don't want them coming loose. For a quick review of what we had to do. I had spent at least an hour putting this one on. Do I regret the studs? Don't ask that question, but it's what we did. And I probably wouldn't try to sit there and rethread the cast iron, because the cast iron's too old for that to take well. Maybe helicoils if the helicoils were more of a forging than a casting. So we have the TC30, the loader tractor doing the lifting, and the 14, we need that. So we gotta have at least 2 tractors, and we have 2 of them doing the work. Loader tractor's lifting up. If you saw before I rolled it up, I was really close. I didn't have to sit there and turn the tire much to line up the holes. We had that. But I couldn't get it to go on, so I had the loader tractor lifting. I think I might have it positioned a little far away. That was difficult because it kept wanting to pull the top out when I lifted it. And I had the TC to push. Oh, and what is it? We got ratchet straps, so I was being able to, so I could hold it in place. The problem with the loader tractor is yeah, it slowly seeps a little bit, so it wouldn't stay. And we're not going to put a nut on that one just yet, because Napa's been having troubles with their distribution center. We got 16, not 18, 16. We got one, and we got the studs. They had to order the other nuts. So we got 3 boxes of 5, so we have enough to do all but one on each side. This was a struggle, a fight, holy cow. But it feels great once it's on, and I hope I don't have to take it off, because that's gonna not be fun. And maybe the issue is that maybe one stud's not super straight, if I didn't drill it straight. So that's where the key of having a drill press would be great, but that'd be very challenging to get this hub set up in a press. There's not very many good flat surfaces. If we come over here, you have to have such a long bit to get past all that material. Yeah, it's easier to come from the top, but we don't have a full flat surface all the way across the weight distribution of the hub. Well, that was a struggle. Time to do this side, turn it all around. Might get a quick sip of water first. This side went a whole lot better. I picked a different method. We're more in the middle of the barnyard. I have the tire. I drove up on blocks instead of trying to use a drop off at the edge of the driveway. So there's our blocks. And I did pretty good at getting it lined up. Didn't have to roll the tire too much to get the stud started. And I got it started. And then I drove up with the loader tractor. And it looks like we can get a nut on there real nice, and I just kind of positioned a little bit above middle because I had the bottom started more. And it's gently pushed in. Yeah, that saved about an hour right there. Yeah, well, my problem is I did that in a dumb spot where I had no room to get the loader tractor. But you come at the edge of the gravel, it slopes down over here. So I figured I wouldn't have to drive up, you know, the tractor tire on anything. So I can probably pull the loader away now. We'll get our box and nuts over here, put these guys on. Oh, and then we'll be ready to roll with the duals. We will catch you guys later with more fun farming adventures. Oh, I just love the back view with the duals on.